Just 2 Saturdays remain in the USL regular season, but plenty is still to be decided. The Western Conference playoff picture, 3 teams battling for 2 spots. San Antonio FC welcoming in Las Vegas Lights. And a pleasant good evening. Welcome upstairs to the broadcast booth. Along with Lance Key, I'm Dan Weiss. It's great to have you with us. Lance, San Antonio FC still alive in the Western Conference playoff picture after their 3-1 win over Seattle Sounders 2 last Saturday here at Toyota Field. But as we take a look at the Western Conference table, they need to continue to win if they want a shot to make the postseason.
They most certainly do. 2 matches to play. They don't have to get 6 points, but for all intents and purposes, they do. It's important they come out tonight, try to build off last week's performance, and really go and get those 3 points tonight to put themselves in a better position going into the final week.
As we look at the playoff scenarios here momentarily, you're right, Lance. San Antonio's best path into the postseason is by winning these next 2 matches and then trying to get some help either from Swope Park Rangers, who has 1 game remaining, and St. Louis, who has 2 games remaining. As we look here now at the scenarios, you did mention there is some other potential scenarios that could get San Antonio FC in, but that is the most straightforward one.
When you find yourself at this point in the season, you don't have the luxury of trying to figure out what's going to happen if this happens and that happens. You just have to go out and take care of business on your side, and that's tonight coming out against Las Vegas and securing 3 points. As we said, they've got to build on last week's performance. There were some very bright spots in last week's performance. There were some points that were maybe a little bit concerning at this stage of the season, but the fact of the matter is they've got to play well tonight, and they've got to get 3 points.
They're going to take on a Las Vegas Lights team who's had a tumultuous expansion season, a team that's out of the playoff picture, but a team you were talking about earlier has a lot of players that are vying for jobs next season.
Most definitely. Listen, at this stage in the season, with them not being in the playoff hunt, it doesn't mean that their season is over, and these guys know that. They're veteran players. They understand the importance of playing well and securing contracts going forward into their playing career, and so I would expect them tonight to come out and try to be the spoiler.
It is October. It is Breast Health Awareness Month. It is our Methodist Healthcare Breast Health Awareness Night here at Toyota Field as the players paying tribute to survivors and fighters. San Antonio, Las Vegas, coming up on the other side.
Thanks. It's like a smart thing. What's the weather?
Sunny. Perfect chicken eating weather.
How'd you get in here?
It's time for chicken.
What's the traffic like?
Rerouting you to chicken.
Okay.
Hey, Calzo, order pizza.
Ordering chicken.
No, pizza.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken it is.
Chicken biscuits made fresh daily for breakfast.
Now that's smart.
Corner stores are proudly becoming Circle K, home of the Polar Pop Cup. That's right, you can enjoy any size Polar Pop Cup filled to the brim with your favorite flavor for just 79 cents at any corner store. Nothing stays cold longer, and the Polar Pop Cup is the best way to quench your thirst. Stay refreshed all day long for just 79 cents. Corner store, proudly becoming Circle K.
When we rescued Franny, she needed a special diet.
Which meant spending tons on premium food at the pet store.
So as an HEB pet buyer, it became my goal to develop a high-quality pet food, but at a price everyone can afford. And that's why we created Heritage Ranch. Heritage Ranch has meat as the first ingredient and no artificial flavors. Plus, we donate 1% of sales to local Texas pet shelters. And dogs love it too.
Right, Franny?
I'm Stacy, and this is the Best for Pets department at HEB. No store does more than my HEB.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
Toyota Field, the penultimate Saturday of the 2018 regular season, and for San Antonio FC, all on the line tonight. And if they take care of business tonight, all on the line next Saturday night. But first things first, the Las Vegas Lights are in town for the first time ever in their brief history. Let's take a look at our starting 11s for both sides. First for the visitors from Las Vegas, As we mentioned, it's been a tough year for them with a record of 7 wins, 17 defeats, 7 draws. A lot of experience, though, in this group, including former San Antonio FC midfielder Carlos Alvarez in their inaugural season. Alvarez 4 goals in 30 matches for San Antonio FC. Meanwhile, San Antonio's lineup will be almost identical to what it was last Saturday night against Seattle, the lone substitution being Mo Hernandez coming in place of Mike Seth, but across the top, it's exactly the same for Darren Powell, including Ethan Bryant, who got his first goal, the youngest player in San Antonio FC history, just at 17 years to do so last Saturday night. Methodist Healthcare has our injury update for tonight's match, and for San Antonio, it's the same as it's been the last couple of weeks. Stephen McCarthy, Diego Restrepo out with injury. Ryan Felix has been out dealing with a lower body injury the last couple of weeks. Restrepo and McCarthy not expected to, I don't think, really to be with the club here for the last 2 matches of the season. And San Antonio FC, the group they have is the group they will go forward with as we are underway. Along with Lance Key and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you along here on this Saturday night, our Breast Health Awareness Night, presented by Methodist Healthcare. San Antonio and Las Vegas meeting for the second time this year. These clubs met all the way back on April 27th at Cashman Field. San Antonio handing Las Vegas their first ever defeat. It was a 3-1 win, and in that match, Lance, 2 key San Antonio players getting injured. First ever Guzman, who scored in the 18th minute, and then it was Connor Presley later on in the match. Of course, ever missed significant time after that injury. And for Las Vegas, who earned results in 6 out of their first 7 matches, that was kind of the start of a downhill spiral for them. San Antonio FC will earn the game's first corner of the match. That's the left-footed in-swinger. Lance Lange will take it into the 6-yard box, and it's off the center midfielder there, Rafael Garcia, will do it again.
Fortunate there for Garcia, as that came off the wrong end of his boot there. Sending it out over the inline front of the corner kick. Pretty decent delivery from Lance Lange, something we've grown accustomed to seeing, both from the run of play as well as from set-piece situations.
Lance has been on a tear since coming to San Antonio. 4 goals, 4 assists, and continues to score and create in just about every single match that he's been a part of with this group. Lange with a service in to the back post, and this sails over the head on the far side there of Mo Hernandez. It'll be a throw in here for Las Vegas. The Lights winless in their last 10 matches, 0-8-2. They've been outscored 2-1 over that time, 26-13. Their last win, August the 4th, 1-0 at Cashman Field over Rio Grande Valley. They've actually been a pretty good team at home, Lance, where they're 5 wins, 7 losses, 4 draws, but the road has been a tough place for them this year. Just 2 wins, 15 matches on the road.
And historically, Toyota Field is one of the more difficult places in USL to win on the road. See how that plays out over the 90 minutes tonight.
A matchup to watch tonight's going to be on the right side of the attack for Las Vegas. Raul Mendiola, their leading goal scorer, has got 9 of the season. He's going to be running on San Antonio FC captain Greg Cochran all night. We'll watch that one. Cochran, of course, competing in his 100th San Antonio FC match last Saturday against Seattle. I asked Darren Powell yesterday at training, what that means to have a player in the form of Cochran to be in 100 matches in history. And Darren just continues to talk about Greg as a competitor, how he makes himself better week in and week out. He makes the team better to the point where if he could clone 18 Greg Cochrans and put him out on the field every Saturday, I'm sure he'd like to.
Listen, Greg's been a fantastic example, both on the field and off the field, as they mentioned in last week's broadcast. His efforts over the last couple of years to go on and pursue and get his MBA while he was playing. I'm not sure that they would win 18. They would not win much in the air if they had 18 Greg Cochrans. But he's a dynamic player, he's a fantastic player. It's really been a joy to watch his career, specifically here in San Antonio, and see the success that he's been able to bring for himself and for the players around him. And you look at a player like Lance Lange and the success that he has. Make no mistake, Greg Cochran is a big part of the SAFC attack when they're really driving and pushing forward. And I think his movement, his overlapping runs, is creating space and dragging defenders to create a little bit more area for Lance Lang to be able to operate in. It's a nice partnership. I liked how that has developed here over the last few weeks. And as you said, Lance Lang, all he does, it seems, is score goals and create goals.
As Cochran will settle this one and sends it in the direction of Lance Lang over there outside on the left flank. Attacking on the former Major League Soccer defender, midfielder Eric Avila. There's Cochran again. Cochran service in, headed by Hever Guzman, but it'll land right to Thomas Olsen, who is the third keeper, technically, for Las Vegas Lights. Made his first career start last Saturday in their loss against OKC Energy FC, but he was very good. 6 saves on 7 total shots. He is a native of Las Vegas, went to high school there, then played collegiately at the University of San Diego, and Isidro Sanchez, the interim head coach, decided to go back with a rookie keeper for a second straight match after his performance last Saturday. Mendiola sending this through for the veteran Sammy Ochoa, shaking off Cyprian Hedrick. Ochoa with the ball at his feet. Hedrick will take it away. And Sammy thought that Hedrick might have had a hand on that ball inside the area.
Ochoa did a great job there of getting, we'll come back to that.
Bryant's offside, the flag is up.
Ochoa did a great job of getting Cyprian Hedrick down to the ground in that situation. Used his technical ability to cut it back onto his left foot, but the effort of Cyprian Hedrick, which we're so used to seeing, here's a good example right here. Just his effort to get in front, to not allow anything easy to happen in and around the box. Definitely a little bit of contact with his hand there. I think Ochoa by that point had already given up on it and was just hoping for the handball.
Sammy Ochoa, if you look at his history in the United Soccer League, 41 goals in 136 career matches, spending time in Tulsa, Wilmington, Sacramento. He has been one of the prominent strikers. Mendiola's got a chance and just wide of frame. And we talked about Raul Mendiola. This time he's out on the left side here as he found some space inside the area.
Just that diagonal run across the face there. Ochoa found him, slipped him in. He just got him so far wide of that post there. He really lost all his angle, wasn't able to get his hips all the way back around it. No real danger for Matt Cardoni.
Matt Cardoni making his 12th start of the season. Record of 5 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. There's Isidro Sanchez, as we mentioned. He's the interim head coach here for Las Vegas Lights. It took over 3 weeks ago. His father, the much famed Jose Luis Sanchez Sola, or better known as Chelis, was the head coach at the start of the season, resigned on September the 18th. Now, granted, he had been suspended for 12 matches over the course of Las Vegas' season, 1 for ref contact and another suspension for fan contact. So Isidro Sanchez has basically been the head coach for a majority of Las Vegas' season. Just kind of part of what has been, again, a tumultuous first year for Las Vegas, where a lot of people looked at their roster at the start of the year, saw all the MLS experience, saw all the veteran players, either from Mexico or the United States, and figured this was going to be a team that was going to be reckoned with. It just has not developed that way this year.
Tremendous amount of experience in their personnel. Doesn't always translate, as you know.
Avila puts it off Lang, also asking for a handball there, but we play on. Center referee tonight is Victor Rivas, Jeremy Weed, Andrea Jadel, Elton Garcia work alongside him. And Mendiola and Mo Hernandez getting tangled up a little bit. Now, Lance, one thing we will see tonight. These are 2 of the most physical, chippiest teams in the USL. They are 1-2 in yellow cards on the season. Vegas has 89. San Antonio has 76. Vegas also has the most fouls, 492, and San Antonio not too far behind them at 446. So you can expect, again, this to be a very physical and a very chippy match tonight.
You can already see it starting to take that form. All 4 officials are going to have their work cut out for them tonight. There's going to be a lot of after the ball is gone activity, a lot of stuff away from the ball.
Mo Hernandez, who sat last week against Seattle, back in the 11 here tonight. Let's it over to the top. He's on loan from FC Dallas. And as we get to this point in the season, again with the addition of Mo Hernandez coming last month, San Antonio finally got some consistency in their back end. And it took them About 4 months to find that consistency with Cochran and King on the outside, and Cyprian Hedrick now starts in his 21st consecutive match and now has a nice partner in Mo Hernandez to work there in between.
And that's important, and we've been talking about that all season long. And then as you say that, last week, Mo Hernandez is out serving a red card from the previous match. So there's still a little bit of inconsistency there. And he's so new to the squad. But at the same point, he brings some experience. He brings some capability there at center back. Certainly when you're looking to try to solidify things, being able to do so from the back forward is always a nice option. Matt Cardoni settling in after Diego Restrepo's injury. Matt Cardoni obviously being a big part of the last few seasons here in San Antonio, but really taking over as the starter with Restrepo out.
Well, we talked at the top about the playoff scenarios for San Antonio. The good news, Lance, is that they don't have to do any scoreboard watching tonight. St. Louis does not play tonight. Swope Park Rangers does not play tonight. So San Antonio really, which no doubt they would obviously take care of their own business, but they really don't have to see what else is going on ahead of them. St. Louis will play Wednesday night at home against Tulsa, and then Saturday night at home against OKC Energy FC. San Antonio next Saturday plays Rio Grande Valley FC, and then next Sunday, Swope Park Rangers plays their final match of the season. They're going to take on LA Galaxy 2 at home. So it is very possible we could go to next Sunday before we know whether San Antonio FC is in the top 8 of the Western Conference or not. Great run by Greg Cochran up the left side, and a nice job coming over by the veteran defender Miguel Angel Garduño, 27-year-old out of Mexico City.
A great ball forward there. Well-timed run from Greg Cochran. He saw the back line of Las Vegas was high and saw the space in behind. His run dictated a good service in behind, and ultimately a little bit of possession here for SAFC down in their attacking third.
And that was Daigo Kobayashi who just conceded possession. 35 years of age, former member of the Japanese national team. Over 120 games of MLS experience. Almost an extension of the coaching staff, Kobayashi. Cochran whips another good ball in. This one headed out of the area. Nice turn back, though, by San Antonio as Lance Lang couldn't find it at his feet. Look out here. Vegas' numbers upfield. Sammy Ochoa making the run. Ochoa into the box. Ochoa makes it 1-0. Sammy Ochoa in the 12th minute gives the visitors the early 1-0 lead. A breakdown for San Antonio in the middle of the park. And Ochoa's got his 7th of the season and his 42nd in USL play.
That was just a really well-taken counterattack. You see SAFC couldn't get possession. Hedrick took a chance there, ended up creating a 2v1, a fantastic little ball in there as it textured into Ochoa's run. Matt Cardoni really just doing the best he can to cover up as much space as possible, but Ochoa is a great finisher, as you said. Been such a prolific goal scorer in his career and certainly here for Las Vegas. It's very difficult in that situation for Mo Hernandez to try to manage that 2 versus 1 scenario. Those types of things, when you're in a situation when you have to go and ensure you get 3 points, you take some unnecessary risks sometimes. You want to try to balance out your risk versus reward. Cyprian Hedrick there a little bit hasty and a little bit overzealous to get that ball, and ultimately left Moises Hernandez on his own 2v1.
Sammy Ochoa, not the first time he's scored here at Toyota Field. A couple years ago did so with Tulsa. And that's a, needless to say, an auspicious beginning for the home side, going down 1. Well, plenty of time remaining in the match, but, you know, San Antonio, they are not really in the position to just earn draws at this point, which means they're going to have to find a way to score 2 here.
Gonna score 2 goals tonight for sure now. Disappointing to start that way. Dig yourself a hole against a veteran team who will certainly understand the savvy and game management necessary to take the air out of the match. Certainly not the position you want to be in against a Las Vegas side.
Las Vegas Lights, their attack, very good. You take a look, they're tied for 14th of the USL, 44 goals. Their back end, their goalkeeping has only done them in. They're 29th in the USL. Goals conceded, it's 68. They have conceded on the road this season 43 times. That was just their 22nd goal for on the road. So they will give San Antonio opportunity, but they will take plenty more opportunities, as indicated by their 477 shots total coming into this match. Now, granted, they don't get a lot of them on frame. Their shooting accuracy is only 41%, but they will fire, and they will keep firing.
And as it stands tonight, they're 1 for 1. So poor percentage or not, tonight they've done what they've needed to create a good goal-scoring opportunity earlier in this match and have been opportunistic in taking it. Just going to have to be tighter from SAFC. They're going to have to make sure that they're staying organized on both sides of the ball. Sometimes when you're looking to get forward, you're committing numbers forward, like we saw in that transition. There just wasn't good enough organization behind, and they cannot give away those counterattack situations. But a good look here, a Lance Lang service, which you've become accustomed to seeing over the last month and a little bit. Expected delivery in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot, bending from left to right, away from the goalkeeper into the run of his players. Can he move it quickly enough to take it out of Olsen's range?
5 in the box for San Antonio here on this delivery. Escalante's the late man in on the backside. Left foot in swinger Lance Lang, getting under it there was Mo Hernandez, but putting it wide of goal. And they'll say it was off Las Vegas. It'll be another corner.
So much pace on that ball here from Lang. Really, it's the only way it's going to go if a Las Vegas Lights defender gets to it. It's going to have to go out for a corner there because of the pace that he put on it and because of the swerve left to right.
To the back post. Brought down, kept off the back line, wouldn't have counted anyway. Cyprian Hedrick called for the foul inside the area.
I think it was Mo Hernandez here who's going to come over the back.
Oh, yeah, right there next to Cyprian.
It's the right decision, just trying to do everything he can to try to get on the end of it. That ball was dipping and dying just in front of him. Wasn't able to get across the face of that defender.
A little positive momentum for San Antonio, though, after that last trip down the field. As they get a set piece opportunity and then another quarter out of it. They'll find themselves down 1 here as Cochran pushing forward. Lang with a throw-in. Cochran gives the ball up.
Not enough deception there from Cochran as he tried to backheel to Lang.
Well, Lance, that's now 15 straight games that San Antonio FC has conceded. They have not had a clean sheet since July 25th against Colorado. Just to put that in perspective, they led the USL with 15 clean sheets a year ago. And they've only got 5 overall this season.
And that's a really easy way to put yourself in bad positions to lose games throughout the course of a season, which we've seen them do over and over. And so sporadically, so sort of inconsistently, from one stretch of the season to the next. You almost see a little bit of a different commitment in terms of how they play, but that's the one consistent thing that we've seen is that they've been giving up goals too easily, and a lot of times in these transitional moments.
When does Victor Rivas start issuing cautions? Because we're kind of getting to that point here 18 minutes into the match.
It'll be soon, I would imagine. There's a lot of antics. There's a lot of stuff going on. He's receiving a lot of feedback, we'll call it, after every whistle. So I would assume in the very near future he's going to get tired of hearing it, and he's going to have to start to intervene.
Aigo Kobayashi coming back over the ball here. Kobayashi outside. Rafael Garcia returning into the back line. And dipped in away from Mendiola. San Antonio will take the throw in. See over on the opposite side, watched there by Mo Hernandez, the former San Antonio FC midfielder. Carlos Alvarez, who's been quiet here so far through the first 19 minutes. Alvarez, of course, longtime Major League Soccer midfielder, San Antonio FC's first ever signee back in 2016 in their inaugural campaign. 6 goals this year for Alvarez. Really a coup for Las Vegas, too, as they're building their roster. Alvarez is, as good as anyone as you want to build your team around when you're starting as an expansion side.
Yeah, it has been quiet down that left-hand side tonight for Las Vegas, though, so far.
Garcia will try to work to get Alvarez involved. There's the collision with Alvarez. And possession here for San Antonio FC as Jose Escalante was brought down on the collision.
And you see Jose Escalante coming inside so often. He's going to do that from that right-hand side, trying to come in on his left. We saw a little bit last week. We've seen that over the course of his time here in San Antonio when he cuts in on that left side, trying to create himself some opportunity to play across the face of the field.
Cochran, good ball delivery there from Mo Hernandez. The return ball to Lance Lang, however, intercepted by Eric Avila.
A couple of relatively unforced giveaways from Cochran, something we're not used to seeing. He'll be disappointed in those last couple of touches, last couple of trips down the field. Just have to bring a better quality in possession. Technically, they're going to have to get sharper, is SAFC, because as we can already see, Las Vegas, that you can almost start to feel their grip on the game and things going in the direction that they want it to go. And SAFC just trying to fight for rhythm and trying to fight for a little bit of confidence here and not able to find it very easily. And that's that veteran experience that you're going to get from Las Vegas, who recognizes the position they're in, up a goal on the road late in the season against a team who's a little bit desperate for points.
Las Vegas featuring 6 players, 30 years or older on their active roster, 588 games combined of Major League Soccer experience, 38 goals in Major League Soccer. Now, to be fair, 19 of those belong to the former phenom Freddie Adu, who's not in the 18 tonight for Las Vegas, did not make the trip. 2 former #1 overall picks in the Major League Soccer Super Draft. One of those being Adu, the other Omar Salgado. He is not here. Interesting story with him. He's actually already been signed by the new El Paso side in USL. He's going to play with them next year. He's technically on loan from a team that doesn't even theoretically exist yet. He's out tonight with an upper body injury.
Amazing.
Kobayashi settles. And a weak ball on Matt Cardoni will handle easily.
Difficult place to beat a goalkeeper from, even with all the experience and the ability that he has. 35 yards out, straight ahead.
Kobayashi, over 400 career matches when you include his time spent in Japan, Major League Soccer. His most recent stop was the New England Revolution.
And that's just not going to do from SAFC. Just not enough creativity, not enough idea. Trying to play a vertical ball straight down the field there with no real space in behind and no real movement to get on the end of it. They've got to be willing to exercise a little bit of patience, to work a little bit harder for each other off the ball so that they can start to build some of that possession, because right now they aren't demonstrating much of all.
This has been a common occurrence, Lance, in games that we've done here at Toyota Field with San Antonio FC conceding early in the match. Have you seen that sometimes alter their strategy or their plan for maybe what they wanted to do in the first quarter hour?
Interestingly enough, there are some matches where it almost looks like they're expecting to concede in that first 15 minutes, which is obviously not the position you want to be in.
Look out here as the touch ball over to the top. Garcia gave it a go. It was blocked out. And San Antonio now the counter-attack opportunity. Pekka in stride. He's got Escalante coming into the area. Escalante, ball at his feet. Can he open up? He does, but he didn't get all of it, and it was an easy save on the ground for Thomas Olsen.
It was a great breakout there from SAFC. Really well done from Mo Hernandez to pick up the space. Unfortunately, as he played the ball out to Escalante there on the right-hand side, Escalante's always going to want to come back to the inside on his left. He ultimately runs away from his target and tries to get his hips all the way back around. There's no power in that, and ultimately no harm and no issue for Olsen there in goal. Escalante did have a couple of SAFC attacking players that had trailed the play just at the edge of the box there that he didn't get his head up to find, that probably would have been in better position to be able to convert that. but a nice breakout. You like the way it looked in the end, just not nearly a good enough finish.
Weak outlet ball there by Cardone will result in a throw in here for Las Vegas on the attacking side of the field. As Avila will come over to take it. Eric Avila, 30-year-old in his 11th season, 174 games in Major League Soccer to his credit. Can play in the midfield, can play as defender as well. It's the position he's lined up tonight is right back for Isidro Sanchez's side. San Antonio with a clearance upfield. Pekka trying to turn it to the outside. Christian Torres steps up, makes the interception. Kobayashi gets free. Now running here on Darnell King. Will return it back to Carlos Alvarez. The service to the back post. Sammy Ochoa can't get underneath it.
Not a bad idea there from Alvarez. He cut onto his right foot. He saw Ochoa lurking there on the weak side. Just overhit it, put it beyond his head.
And look out here, not the best ball back to Cardone. He had to hop over the oncoming rush to Sammy Ochoa. He was able to play it off to Mo Hernandez. Outsized Cochran. San Antonio with the attack. Cochran trying to slip that one through. Got it in Lang's direction. And a good tackle and a good challenge by Torres coming back.
Seeing a lot of effort from Las Vegas on the defensive side of the ball right now in both boxes. You saw Ochoa slide in there on Matt Cardone. And then you see that slide there to try to keep Lang from getting the end line. We're seeing a little bit just of how the game is going right now. San Antonio, some unforced errors, some underhit services that are putting their own players in difficult positions.
Cochran brought down, lost his footing, and they'll call it a goal kick.
At first look, it did seem as if he took a little bit of contact, but he rode it out well enough. Whereas if he had just gone down initially, don't know, tough to see from that angle if there was any contact at all. Referee was close enough to see it. Ultimately, it was just too heavy a touch from Cochran there to the end line. Was unlikely to chase it down and keep it in play.
Hey, one thing about the pitch tonight, looks very fast.
It does.
Which is not something we've seen for much of the summer here at Toyota Field. Now, arguably, San Antonio only had 2 matches here at home in what was the 3rd rainiest month in San Antonio history. Is into the area. And contact on the attack here by Pekka. And the foul on Pekka. But that ball moving a lot quicker than we normally see it.
Yeah, it's moving very quick tonight. It's moving very quick tonight. And it's just, it changes your timing. You know, as a defensive player, it changes your timing in terms of when you go and when you commit to a tackle or when you commit to pressure. When the ball's zipping as it seems to be doing tonight, it requires a little bit of adjustment, especially when you're used to it playing a little bit slower.
Mendiola, Garcia. Here's Avila. Nice little combination here with Garcia and Avila off the sideline. They'll call the foul. Darren Powell with maybe a reminder to Joaquin Rivas that he might have missed one on the other side. Garcia with a free kick. He'll switch the play all the way across.
Got 2 players in an offside position there for Las Vegas. We're not expecting that direct ball in.
Hernandez, and a little look back at Hedrick, then came forward to Mikey Lopez. A run down from behind by Ochoa. And Ochoa will have his word with Joaquin Rivas. And again, at the top of the match, we told you that these are the top 2 teams in the USL when it comes to yellow cards, and you just feel that one is brimming at this point.
That's a tough challenge there from Ochoa. But kudos to the official, not going to the pocket to book anybody thus far, almost 30 minutes through the match, in a match where we thought it might have come earlier than that.
The ball to the outside, Darnell King sending it in, and Garduño got it on the end of it to send it over goal. And it will result, though, in San Antonio's fourth corner here of this match. Miguel Angel Garduño keeping the dangerous opportunity away.
Garduño's done a very nice job so far tonight of taking up those good defensive starting positions and found himself in the position to clear and tackle and prevent goal-scoring opportunities from SAFC time and time again thus far.
Lance Lang will take the Circle K corner kick. Good in-swing delivery in and headed immediately out. That's Sammy Ochoa getting inside the box, playing a little bit of back line defense. A half hour in, San Antonio down 1-0. Ochoa in the 12th minute, his 7th this season, and the 42nd time the 32-year-old from Morelia, Mexico, has scored in his USL career.
Just far too easy there.
Alvarez looking in Mendiola's direction again over there on the left side. San Antonio couldn't get the full clearance out of their attacking third as Las Vegas will reset. Avila out by the touchline now, turning back here to the inside, sending one in the direction of Ochoa, getting up Mo Hernandez to head out. And now Pekka on the counter, trying to space it out. We'll get Mikey Lopez open in space. Good ball delivery. Guzman remains onside, edge of the box. Service back in. Lights collapse. It comes out top. Opportunity for Lopez. Didn't get much on the attempt. Boy, Lights doing a real good job collapsing right back in the box whenever San Antonio seemingly has an opening. And now another counter opportunity as Kobayashi leads the rush.
Yeah, it really was a pretty good break there. Escalante, that run from outside to in, created space for Mikey Lopez to get around the right-hand side, but ultimately just weren't able to get the look that they needed. But to your point, a very good job from Las Vegas Lights here, getting back and defending.
And look out, turnover created. Escalante in stride, stops. Escalante, challenge, tried to slip it over to Guzman. He's going to run out of real estate, and the ball goes over the end line. What appeared to be a sure opportunity for San Antonio ends up without even a shot on target.
Honestly, an unbelievable sequence here. Defensive breakdown, and at this point, Escalante never really seems to hit his pace. He's such a dynamic and fluid athlete. He never really got going to create the separation from those trailing defenders. Ultimately, all of that delay allowed for the recovery, and then from there, it just all fell apart.
Escalante was brought into the offseason after very good success in Rio Grande Valley and just has not seemed to find his form in San Antonio this year with only one goal for the 23-year-old. And missing on an opportunity to equalize. Lang towards the back post. Brought down. It's loose in front of Olsen, but he's able to get on it.
And just a great example there. Well done from Lang. A nice service in. The ball headed down right at the edge of the 6-yard box. And there's just not a convergence of players who are demonstrating that desire to get on the end of it and to create and score goals. You're down 1-0, you're at home, you've got less than 15 minutes to play here in the first half. You've got to get points out of this match, and we're just not seeing that in the body language of the SAFC players tonight.
Joseph Perez upfield, off Mo Hernandez, Cyprian Hedrick. Garcia brings it down. Alvarez with a touch, and it was turned out by San Antonio. Ethan Bryant. Nice delivery upfield, Lance Lang. Edge of the box, return ball, Guzman! We have the equalizer! Well done, Ever Guzman! his 9th of the season. San Antonio knocks the game at 1.
That is such an important goal for SAFC here tonight. They've really been poor overall in the night through almost 34 minutes. A little bit of a break there. I was almost going to be critical of Ethan Bryant for not committing Garduño and playing Lance Lang so early. And then Lance Lang gets the ball, he looks up, there didn't seem to be anyone there, and then Ever Guzman streaks in just past the penalty spot to get on the end of a service exactly where Ever Guzman wants the ball. Finally, late here in the season, he's getting consistent service into that area for him to go and do what he does, which is score goals in and around the face. A really, really important goal here for SAFC.
Guzman's 9th of the season, his all-time leading 14th with San Antonio, and this is 37th match. Another assist for Lance Lang, number 5 on the year.
And because what we know he does is if he creates a goal, he also scores a goal. So we should be expecting a finish here from Lang before the night is over. But if we go back to the movement from Ever Guzman off the ball, Lance Lang was so far ahead of the play, there wasn't really anyone there to support him. But it was the conviction of Guzman's run to get into the box, into that dangerous area, so that Lance Lang can do what he does so well. And that's probably the first run tonight where I've seen a real conviction from an SAFC
Alvarez
attacker.
puts it in. Play onside. Now the flag goes up at the very last moment. Alvarez made the turn and chipped it in over the top, and Mendiola thought he had number 2 for Las Vegas, but instead it's brought back by the assistant at the very last second.
And we'll get another look at it. Definitely look to just squeak into an offside position there. Fortunately, Greg Cochran, a heads-up play from this near side along the back line, recognizing the position of the Las Vegas attacking player and just stepping up to create that offsides.
So Ever Guzman, the equalizer in the 34th minute, breathing life into San Antonio's attack here. Garcia, combination, Avila. Run off the ball, Cochran will take over.
Great defensive effort there from Cochran to come back and find it.
Lang went off his foot trying to dribble around Avila. Garcia will take the throw. Shoa thrown down by Mo Hernandez. Joaquin Rivas will mark the spot.
Almost sense a little bit of frustration from Las Vegas right now. They felt themselves in such a good position going late into this half, up a goal on the road. That equalizer creating some of that frustration for him. Ochoa continuing to find himself in the mix of these whistles, isn't he?
4 in the box for Las Vegas. Service Kobayashi directly on frame, punched out by Matt Cardoni. And the ball ends up back to Greg Cochran. Garcia puts it off Lance Lang, and a throw in here for Las Vegas. So San Antonio, who conceded first for the 19th time this season, is able to come back with the equalizer.
Good little battle there from Ethan Bryant.
And a foul on Pekka.
Really difficult there for Pekka. That player just leaning on him. Alex Mendoza's just leaning on him there. He's really unable to move and to get access to the ball.
Garcia puts it out wide. Torres heads it down inside the area, puts it on frame. Easily played by Cardoni, will send it out to Lang. Cochran upfield. A nice little bit of individual effort by Greg Cochran, but he ran out on the touchline as he got around Mendiola.
Just ran out of space a little bit there, ran out of ideas, didn't really have the support he was looking for along this near touchline.
Eric Avila, nice job by Ethan Bryant, will dispossess Avila of the ball. Mikey Lopez returning to Pekka. Now he's got Kobayashi on his back this time. Said it was going to be chippy.
Plenty of contact.
Escalante returns to Darnell King. Well, King lost his footing. Good recovery. Lopez taking contact from Rafael Garcia there.
And still amazingly no bookings.
I don't think we can go 30 seconds without a whistle here for a foul.
I would say so far, I said this earlier, he's managing it very well, is Victor Rivas, in terms of not going to the book. At some point, as you start to get players coming through the back of other players.
Well, and I guess the question is, Lance, when the cautions don't come out, does that sometimes give players a little more aggressive ideas on their challenges in these situations?
I think it allows the game to be played a little bit more purely, but there's a measure there. And so if it starts to become a little bit overly concerning, like I said, with players coming through the back of another, it's one thing to be very physical and hard in a challenge, another thing to come through the back of a player. And to me, those sort of dangerous situations are really the ones that you have to really get hold of as a center official to make sure that you're managing that aspect of the game.
Good turn by Ever. Jenna works it off here. Lance Lang. Cochran. Pekka.
Good patience from SAFC.
Edric puts it wide. Darnell King. Looking back for Cheno inside the area. Looking to make the turn on Garduno. Puts it over the top, across the frame of goal into the back post. Taken by Avila, however. And Mo Hernandez nearly got caught in a vulnerable position there. Able to battle through Rafael Garcia to take possession of the ball. Now whips it into the area. Headed out there.
Garduno again.
Kobayashi draws the contact from Escalante.
A little bit of quality down there on the right-hand side. Ever Guzman getting into the box. Unfortunately, your nearest runner in the box is Greg Cochran, your left back, who's gotten all the way across the front post. There's just nobody else there. We talked about the conviction of the attacking movements from SAFC. They've got to be able to commit numbers in those key moments of the game if they're going to be able to take these opportunities that they're creating.
Christian Torres will take the throw in after Alvarez couldn't hit him on that left touchline. Now Carlos slips it into the box. Ochoa putting it back out. Kobayashi with a strike that's blocked. Settled by Rafael Garcia. Worked out wide. Eric Avila. Avila into the area. Avila. Cochran going with him. Plays to the back post. Sammy Ochoa, not the most athletic, trying to perhaps turn a bicycle opportunity there. Look, come out. Rafael Garcia will put it over frame.
Ochoa is absolutely putting himself about in both boxes. 33 is the new 23, I think.
I love his effort tonight. Dedication has been outstanding. He's got the goal for lights. My jaw would have dropped if he had hit that bicycle, that's for sure. But A for effort for Sammy Ochoa. As we cross into the 44th minute here, the opening half in a 1-1 match. But frankly, really a draw not good enough for San Antonio tonight. They're going to need to get a second.
Yeah, as we said, there's a number of different scenarios of how this can play out. A draw doesn't necessarily drop the guillotine, but at the same point, they've got to get everything they can.
A draw would basically put them in a position where they would need Swope Park to not only lose, but lose considerably, because if you were going to take Swope out of the equation, you'd have to beat them on goal differential, which would be the third tiebreaker because the two clubs would be even in wins of the final day of the regular season. Lang, nice ball. Ethan Bryant will get to it. Works to the back post. He was trying to find Cheno there, and a good job coming back. And again, I believe it was Garduño there in front.
Yeah, nice little ball across from Lance Lang as Ethan Bryant slipped himself into this near corner of the box. It wasn't overhit, but where Ethan Bryant picked it up was allowed Olsen to create a great angle for himself to be able to stay big and force Ethan into a really tiny space to the far post. Almost looked like maybe he was trying to serve it. I'm not sure if that was his idea or not. But he had very little room to work with going back to the far post.
3 against 4. Lang able to fight through Avila. And now it's 3-on-3. But Lang airmails this one to Ethan Bryant, who will not be able to run it down. The Light seems content to run out the clock of this first half with 1 minute of added time and go into the locker room even at 1 apiece. And as the road team, you'd expect that would kind of be what they'd be playing for here right now.
And to be fair, it almost looks a little bit like SAFC are content just to get into the locker room at 1-1 and try to regroup. At least that's the body language you read of the players on the field right now. Not really a very good first half. Pretty disappointing, I would say, overall, but fortunate to not be down a goal.
Lang attacking and slipped away from him at the last moment. Avila getting a piece of it, working it upfield. This is off of Ochoa, and that should take us to halftime. And that is exactly what it will do. San Antonio and Las Vegas, each one on the board here after 45 minutes. Sammy Ochoa in the 12th minute. Cheno Guzman, the equalizer, in the 34th, his 14th with SAFC. Halftime, tied at 1. We'll take a break. Highlights, stats, and more on the other side.
Casino Hotel.
It's only a short drive from home.
Over 3,300 slots, poker, and live bingo.
I come for the drinks.
It's a great place to celebrate.
Come and play.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
This bud's for the dream and the people bold enough to pursue it. For those who come from nothing and rise to something. It's for those who take everything this country has to offer and make it their own.
Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel invites you to come and play. Over 3,300 of your favorite slots, a private poker room, bingo, and live entertainment every weekend. Join the Players Club and play your way to greater rewards.
Come and play.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
Our family's been farming in Texas for over 100 years and supplying produce to H-E-B for almost as long. Back then, my grandfather did business with H-E-B, often sealing the deal with a simple handshake.
Today, they're still our best partner.
H-E-B is family for us. So year-round, we supply H-E-B with locally grown produce, picked fresh and often delivered the same day.
It's been a great relationship.
Here's to 100 more years. This is the locally grown department at H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B.
Dinner table, entertainment center, luxury box. The best tailgates make the best tailgate parties no matter how you use them. Hurry in now to the Toyota Tailgate event to get great deals on a new Tundra, Tacoma, or 4Runner.
Right now, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus a $2,000 special edition bonus on a new 2018 Tundra Crewmax Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places.
Halftime at Toyota Field, San Antonio FC and Las Vegas Lights. Deadlocked at a goal apiece. And welcome back upstairs to the broadcast booth along with Lance Ski. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us here on this Saturday night, the second to last Saturday in the regular season. Lance, San Antonio FC, one of three teams vying for the last two playoff spots in the Western Conference coming into play tonight. And they got behind early, but did a good job to battle back to level this game after 45 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't really start very well, and not certainly what you would expect maybe from a team who needed those 6 points tonight. Conceded an early goal, a little bit of overzealousness there along the back line, allowed a transition moment. Sammy Ochoa made no mistake, tucked it in the far corner. Mo Hernandez wasn't able to do much about that. Lots of activity, lots of physical play throughout the match, something we've talked about several times. But you're right, SAFC found a way to stay in the match. Here we see Lance Lane getting down that left-hand side. He's going to play a great ball across the face of goal. Ever Guzman does everything he can to get on the end of it and tucks it in to the back of the net to equalize, something they desperately, desperately needed here before the halftime whistle blew.
And for Cheno, his 14th all-time in his San Antonio career. He's number one all-time. Here are the first half numbers, and pretty even, Lance. You know, take away the possession, which you figure with San Antonio, they're going to dominate that. But across the board, everything else pretty much the same.
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot between them. You know, I feel like ultimately there were moments and there were phases of the game where Las Vegas Lights did a great job with, and I feel like they managed the game once they went up early. They managed the game very well. But SAFC kind of scrappy, a little bit inconsistent from one phase to the next, but ultimately were able to put themselves back in a decent position going into the halftime break to come out and hopefully reinvigorate themselves and push for 3 points here. They've got to push for 3 points.
You said San Antonio is going to get an opportunity to reset here. The question is now, will they try to do what they did to start the game tonight, or is there a little bit of tinkering in their attack here in this next 45 minutes?
Well, I think the game plan as it started didn't exactly execute they wanted to. I think at this point you sort of forget about where you were going into the match on minute one, and you assess where you are right now and what you have to do to ultimately be successful with these last 45 minutes. I would expect to see some personnel changes, if not right out of the break here shortly thereafter, because they're going to have to really focus in on creating good goal-scoring opportunities and getting those 3 points.
We'll see what happens. Second half coming up in just a little bit. San Antonio, Las Vegas, even at 1. Second half kickoff coming up momentarily.
High flying, non-stop action. San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high-performing, hard-working, high-tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat-heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Halftime continues here from Toyota Field. San Antonio FC, Las Vegas Lights deadlocked at a goal apiece. And take a look at what is at stake for San Antonio here over these final 2 Saturdays of the regular season. First, looking at the standings, San Antonio on the outside of the top 8 looking in. They're 3 back of St. Louis, who after tonight still has 2 games remaining, and Swamp Park Rangers 4 up on San Antonio, and their final game of the season is a week from tomorrow at home against Galaxy 2. And so when you add that up and you take a look at what has to happen for San Antonio, the most forward way that San Antonio can get into the postseason is by taking 3 points in each of these last 2 matches and then getting some help from the teams that are playing either St. Louis or Swamp Park Rangers. For St. Louis, they've got Tulsa at home on Wednesday. They've got Oklahoma City at home next Saturday night, and St. Louis has been dominant on their home pitch this year. Swamp Park Rangers taking on Galaxy 2 coming up on Sunday. Second half coming up when we return. San Antonio, Las Vegas, even at 1.
When it needs to be ultra exciting, high flying, non-stop action, San Antonio FC Soccer's got you covered. When it needs to be high performing, hard working, high tech, super safe, built for comfort, and surprisingly affordable, Holt Cat has got you covered. With best-in-class cat-heavy equipment, engines, generators, and more, plus legendary service and support, and the largest parts inventory and distribution network in Texas. Kick it into high gear with Holt Cat.
Little ideas can turn into big dreams. Big dreams require careful planning and the right partner. A partner dedicated to helping you take care of your employees, protect your business, and plan for the future. It's sometimes overwhelming. It's often exciting. It's your story, and we can help. SWBC.
Second half about to begin here on our Breast Health Awareness Night presented by Methodist Healthcare. A lot of pink throughout the stadium this evening in support of survivors and fighters, breast cancer, and it's not only just San Antonio FC, but throughout Spurs Sports and Entertainment, we see all the organizations, whether it be the San Antonio Rampage, the Austin Spurs, the G League, participating in some form of breast health awareness activity, and just the charity and generosity of fans and supporters of whether, again, it's any of the San Antonio Spurs Sports and Entertainment franchises is I always say is one just to tip my hat to and applaud for what the fans do in terms of their generosity and bidding for whether it's game-worn jerseys or in this case the warm-up kits that San Antonio FC wore tonight. It will all turn out to be a fantastic show again of the generosity of this community. You see the coaching staff in their pink tonight, Lance, and well, they're telling us how good they look in pink. That's Ryan Rochandel and Juan Lamadrid downstairs said you need to wear some pink tonight, Lance.
Yeah, I missed that memo. I did not get that shipment in the mail.
Second half about to get underway here momentarily, and it appears we will stay with the same personnel on both sides to begin things here in the second half. And again, in a 1-1 match, San Antonio, they could survive theoretically with just a point tonight. That being said, it would not put them in a very ideal position because, again, then they would be banking on, for one, Swope Park Rangers to lose next Sunday in their final match and to lose considerably because San Antonio FC right now is not in a favorable tiebreaker position with Swope Park Rangers. And then if they were to draw, you're giving St. Louis, who is 3 up on San Antonio, 2 opportunities to get a win and to eliminate San Antonio from catching them. So, again, these are not easy times for Darren Powell and his crew here. But, again, I know it sounds so easy. All they need to do is win and put the pressure on the other teams that they're chasing to get into the postseason.
Effectively, if they don't get 3 points tonight, they've got to win in the snow next week against RGVFC at home, which we all know how likely it is to snow here in the middle of October. So just so unlikely, so difficult to find yourself in that position and have to come out with it because you're relying on so many other things that are so far beyond your control.
So we begin playing the second half with Lance Ski and our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss from Toyota Field. Thanks for joining us. San Antonio and Las Vegas, 1 on the board each here. After 45 minutes, San Antonio in their home black kits trimmed in red and white, Las Vegas lights, as you would expect in their very bright away kits. White kits trimmed in blue, yellow, and black, and very bright blue and yellow socks, I might add, too. Carlos Alvarez will leave it for Christian Torres here on the throw.
An unfortunate start here for SAFC. Not very sharp. Lance Lang with the outside of his left boot. Just pushes it past Darnell King on a fairly routine service.
Hedrick, Garduño, Mo Hernandez with a clearance. There's contact between Ever Guzman and Joseph Perez back upfield, but the ball ended up sailing away from Cheno regardless. It'll be a throw here for Las Vegas. Guzman now 14 goals, as we mentioned, in his 37 San Antonio matches, 9 this year alone for Ever Guzman. 30-year-old who, playing in his 15th professional season, has scored some of San Antonio's biggest goals in their franchise history. Hernandez's clearance got through the defense there, and it's Cheno again off the left flank. Back inside the area, stops, makes a move, takes a shot, he's got 2, and San Antonio has the lead.
And listen, what a great take here from Ever Guzman as he unbalances Garduño right there on the edge of the 6-yard box, right in the corner there. But make no mistake about this service right there from Ethan Bryant. So well textured into the run of Ever Guzman to allow him to attack that space. And then to beat Thomas Olsen there on the near post, making no mistake. Really good skill here from Ever Guzman. Good patience, precision on the service, but what a fantastic ball from young Ethan Bryant.
So San Antonio able to respond early in the second half to now grab the lead. They're up 2-1 as Ever Guzman makes it 10 goals on the season, 15 now in his San Antonio career, with a brace here tonight.
More or less on cue from you there, Dan. Really was a good finish. And Garduño, who's been so good all night for Las Vegas, found himself really in a difficult spot. But Ever Guzman cuts back onto his right foot, finds that little bit of seam to the near post. Thomas Olsen will be disappointed, in allowing that there at the near post, but an important finish.
Cochran off the delivery from Guzman towards that back post. Perez got up under it, laid it off in Carlos Alvarez's general direction. It was worked away by Darnell King, but it'll end up in a throw-in here for Christian Torres.
More combination there from Lang and Cochran down that left-hand side for SAFC. Always proves to be so dangerous.
Kobayashi out wide. Avila running forward, sending it across into the area. Alvarez with a take on his right foot. And I believe it'll be a corner here. They're going to say it went off Darnell King, and it will be the first corner of the evening for Las Vegas.
I think I might agree there with Darnell King. I think the only thing that went off his leg was 3 of Carlos Alvarez's studs of his right boot there. I don't know that there's any contact on the ball. And the contact that the official heard was boot to leg. Unfortunate there for SAFC, not having to defend a corner here when it should have been their goal kick.
Alex Mendoza will take it. Now we'll leave it actually for Kobayashi. Right-footed outswinger. Garcia got up, but could not get under it. Cheno Guzman getting back. Works it around upfield. Here's Lance Lang under the counterattack with Guzman running to his opposite left. Hops right over Joseph Perez. Lang slips it across. Bryant was in an offside position along with Ever Guzman. And the flag went up, but was looking promising though on the counter for San Antonio.
Ethan Bryant there on that far side doing everything he can to try to delay his forward movement, waiting for that ball to come. It was fantastic play from Ever Guzman to get it out to Lang. Lang cuts across well here. That's very, very close, folks. Very, very close. But you like the idea. You like how SAFC are coming out on the break in those transition moments tonight. Looking a little bit like their MO from last year,
where they thrived on the counter. One thing we did say earlier in the first half, Lance, about Sammy Ochoa's goal in the 12th minute is that there was a lot of time left. And same can be said as well here for San Antonio getting an early goal in the second half, that they'll have to defend some good opportunities for lights here in this second half.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting dynamics in a match like you have tonight, where you've got one team who's doing everything they can to stay in contention for the playoff race, and then you've got one team who's already out. As this game gets into the latter moments, that sort of 80th minute and beyond, you don't expect to see the same level of desperation from a Lights team. If it's still a 2-1 situation, then
Cyprian Hedrick, can Cardoni get over and save it? He cannot. There'll be another corner, the second one coming up. Cyprian Hedrick, by the way, today celebrating his 30th birthday. Happy birthday, Sip.
Happy birthday. Interesting decision there from Matt Cardoni to try to keep that ball in with his left leg as opposed to his right, where he continues to face the field. Not able to do so. Another corner for Las Vegas.
Mendoza and Kobayashi over there. Again, Mendoza over the ball, leaves for Kobayashi to the in-swinger this time, and Hedrick got under it and was able to get the clearance out. And then that ball sails off Mo Hernandez, but comes right to Ethan Bryant, who will send forward. Sent back into Rafael Garcia, playing off the head of Hedrick. Ochoa, edge of the box now, will bring it down as he settles, bows on Cochran, drives it across the face of goal, but Cardoni is there to intercept.
Could have been dangerous there. Ochoa does a nice job of turning Cochran, just finding a little bit of space along the end line to squeeze that service into Matt Cardoni in a good starting position to be able to snuff that out, keep it clean.
Garcia, Hedrick sending forward. Escalante, 3 collapse on him. It'll land, however, to Guzman. Pekka turns it upfield. Cochran just could not settle that over on the far touchline. been a rare, tough night for Greg Cochran out on the left side. A lot of unforced errors that we don't often see from him.
Just hasn't been as sharp as we're used to seeing him. Certainly on the technical side of things. His touch has let him down a few times, which ultimately has put him sometimes in some tough decision-making scenarios that have let him down as well.
Torres, Kobayashi, Alex Mendoza. Good ball upfield to Carlos Alvarez. Just not the best touch. A little heavy trying to turn forward. And the counter for San Antonio's off Ever Guzman and return back across the midfield stripe. Garduño. As Kobayashi will return to Joseph Perez. Kobayashi with footsteps going to Escalante. A little bit too much on the pressure from Escalante there on Kobayashi. Will result in a foul.
Escalante putting in some great effort there, trying to create an error across the back line. But comes through the left leg there of Kobayashi.
Lance Lang with a foul outside. A free kick here for Las Vegas. As Avila. Garcia now will come over to join him. He'll go quickly, Avila. Mendiola has been quiet tonight. 9 goals on the season for him. We expected him to play in a little bit more into the Vegas attack. Has not translated into such, however.
Another tough ball.
Alvarez! Good save, Cardone. Put it over the woodwork.
You look at another unforced error there from Pekka, trying to play the ball square out along the edge of the SAFC back third. Really an ill-advised decision. Under-hit service puts Cochran in all kinds of trouble. And then straight away, they're top of the box. Fortunately, Matt Cardone does a great job of staying up and just pushing that up over the crossbar. Not sure if it would have gone up and down to come back under the bar, but he wanted to make sure there was no mistake.
This will be a shorter play this time by Mendoza back out top. Chip to the back post, and fortunately for Cardone, that ball ran out of real estate on its way down. Avila sending forward.
Now you talk about some of these unforced errors. These are just kind of those sharpness elements that you've got to take care of. A lot of little individual mistakes. Fortunate to be in a 2-1 situation here where they're on the right side of gathering those 3 points, but you wonder how many of those little unforced errors can they get away with without ultimately being punished for it at some point.
Lang's throw lands right at the feet of Garduño. And the giveaway for San Antonio here is we're into the 57th minute and a 2-1 lead for the home side. Well, Hernandez runs this down, but doesn't do well with it as he gives it right to Ochoa. Kobayashi couldn't make the turn. Ball back out to Mendoza, and again Kobayashi. This time another turn around Mikey Lopez. They play on, and then Garcia the foul. Catching Lopez from behind.
Escalante worked hard to win that ball back. Mikey Lopez battles here. Really nice job of getting up and finding his feet. A couple of times. Mikey Lopez, that quickness in that real tight space. A lot of times defenders are just a tad too slow in their tackle, and they'll catch him.
The regular season for San Antonio FC concludes next Saturday night. Fan Appreciation Night here at Toyota Field, 7:30. San Antonio will play their final South Texas derby of the season. The Rio Grande Valley FC Toros will make the trek up from the valley in what could theoretically be a do or die for San Antonio, depending on how this result goes, and certainly the Wednesday match for St. Louis taking on Tulsa Roughnecks FC. San Antonio just wants that opportunity to go into next Saturday night with something to play for and let the chips fall where they may. Lance Lang. They'll Put it out wide as Cochran, or rather, excuse me, Ever Guzman will put the brakes on, returns to Lance Lang. Lang into the box, Lang hits the top of the crossbar, and it ricochets out. They gave it a heck of a go, working the two-man game there with Ever Guzman, and Thomas Olsen bailed out by the woodwork there.
It almost felt for sure as if that was destined for the back of the net here. Just Lang finding his space along the edge of the 18. Uses Guzman there to just pick a little bit. And does he get through that ball?
My goodness. What a take.
Such a good ball striker is Lance Lang.
And we laughed, Lance, when we saw Lance Lang back in August when he joined the side about how could FC Cincinnati not find a spot for him, not only in their 11, but even in their 18 on a consistent basis. And you look at what FC Cincinnati has done, and they're having one of the most historic seasons ever in USL play.
Yeah, and there's so much more that goes beyond just the talent of a player and the talent of a side. There's a lot to do with personalities, a lot to do with environment. There's just so many factors and variables at play. And so, you know, you see a talent like Lance Lang, and it's hard to not think, how could he not be playing a part? And I don't necessarily know that it's just because Cincinnati are having that historic season. There's just other elements at play. But he's certainly come in and fit in nicely here in a short time for SAFC.
Torres whips it in, was looking for Kobayashi to defend it out. Run down to the other side by Eric Avila. Avila slips it back, Kobayashi, pressured by Mo Hernandez. Kobayashi's got a reach around grab there of Hernandez's jersey. That'll be the first caution of the night. It'll be on Daigo Kobayashi here in the 61st minute. And Joaquin Rivas, or Victor Rivas, beg your pardon, basically let just about everything go, but when you've got a full tug of the kit there, that'll land you in the books.
Yeah, pretty good defending there from Mo Hernandez just on the edge of the box.
A third caution this season for Daigo Kobayashi. San Antonio into the 61st minute with a 2-1 lead. Ever Guzman the brace in the 34th and 48th minute. His 14th and 15th goals in San Antonio history. And it appears we're going to get double substitution coming on here for Lights momentarily. First will be Daniel Guzman Miranda. He'll take out Kobayashi, 35. His legs may not be moving as well in the second half. Eric Avila will come out. Carter Manley will come in on loan from Minnesota United. Was the 23rd overall pick in the Major League Soccer Super Draft this past spring. He is now, Lance, the 10th first-round pick from this past spring's Major League Soccer Super Draft to set foot on Toyota Field this year.
We've talked about it so many times. I think it can be seen as just sort of a testament of the development opportunities that young players are getting now in this country. Things that have not certainly always been around, certainly weren't around when I was playing. But it's great to see. It's great to see them have a venue and an opportunity to go and really develop as players.
Follows Tristan Blackman, who was here with Phoenix Rising FC a month ago. The number 2 overall pick by the new side, LAFC. Escalante out wide. Fight his way through the challenge there of Joseph Perez. Concedes possession. Carlos Alvarez and Sammy Ochoa will let Darnell King ride the ball out and a throw in here for Las Vegas.
That last time down from Escalante, Ethan Bryan, another little bending, texturing ball coming back to the inside. Escalante always wants to come onto his left foot, and he's so dangerous there, but in that moment, he's got to recognize that that defender is just expecting him to come back across his face, come back on the top side of him. There was no cover in behind. He really had space on the end line. He's got to be able to push that space, if for no other reason, just to keep them honest.
Making the run, looking for contact. There was none there. Was Guzman Miranda trying to get his first touch of the match. Actually, it was Mendiola, I beg your pardon. He was trying to get engaged here, and they play on. Fortunate for San Antonio because Mendiola, I think, might have had his man beat upfield there on the run.
Yeah, I think he found himself in a pretty good place. However, I don't think he was going to make it
to the ball.
And so at that point, he recognized my only alternative here to a goal kick is to try to draw some kind of contact. Referee not having any part of it.
Carter Manley can get up on that right side. We'll see whether he can add something here in the second half. He'll make his first touch here on the ball. Played 3 seasons at Duke University, 58 games, and he concedes possession there. Mikey Lopez, nice ball back. Pekka navigating his way through the middle of the park. Trying to work with Ethan Bryant, turned over. Sammy Ochoa can't get up against Cyprian Hedrick. Ball lands back to Rafael Garcia. Garcia will leave it out wide to the left side here. Coming forward is Torres. A return to Garcia. Nice ball back. Caught Escalante napping a little bit. It allows Torres to get out on the left side. But cross to the back post, but nobody there in a Lights jersey.
See Ochoa not looking quite as dynamic as he did in the first half. The game's starting to wear on him a little bit.
Meanwhile, that man's been flying on adrenaline tonight. Ever Guzman will send it back into the direction of Darnell King. Leaving it for Escalante. He was looking for Cheno making the run to the box, taken away. Lights pushing forward. They've got a little bit of daylight here, and this will be a foul on Escalante against Guzman Miranda.
And you have to wonder for SAFC now being 2-1, 66 minute. At what point do Darren Powell and his staff start to go to the management of the game with regards to personnel, staying fresh enough, want to stay sound defensively and try to limit the opportunities that they give away, but also continue to attack. Talked about before, having the ball and being dangerous going forward is one of the greatest ways to defend.
If you're thinking about players who are good in possession with the ball, certainly Charlie Ward comes to mind here in the second half. Maxi Rodriguez has played that holding midfield position very well, although I actually think both holding midfielders have done their part tonight. Mikey Lopez and Pekka have been really effective.
They have been sound. But the way they've played, both being so holding and so defensive in their posture, it's really left. You think about the 3 and 4 players at most at a time. You had Guzman and Bryant and Lang and Escalante. Really the combination of those 4 players have really been the extent of your attacking core all night long, and covering a lot of ground and a lot of space have those 4 had to do. So you almost wonder, is there something coming in that group to continue to kind of keep the foot at least on the accelerator enough to keep driving SAFC forward and keep the Lights here on a little bit of a defensive posture and mentality.
Gather here, you're going to get a swap on the right side with Omar Gordon getting set to come on. Escalante would be the ideal person to come off in this situation for him. Well, fresh legs on the right side of the attack. Meanwhile, pushing forward Torres around Escalante. Darnell King just trying to let this ball ride out. Torres kept it alive. They play on there on the byline, and Darnell King able to win it back. Escalante to Mikey Lopez, trying to fight through 3 Lights defenders, and able to send Ethan Bryant. And a nice job, good posture by Bryant. Return to King. That should be a foul on Garcia. It will. And San Antonio will put Omar Gordon in for Jose Escalante here in the 68th minute.
SAFC really trying to play in tight spaces there. Pekka did a nice job. He just touched the ball into a space to prevent access. Rafael Garcia just not able really to get to the ball, but Pekka really created that contact. Garcia a little bit frustrated with the call from the referee.
Fresh legs for Omar Gordon, who did not play last Saturday night against Seattle. So it has been a while since he's suited up for San Antonio FC. So fresh legs here allows them to be aggressive on the right side of the field too. With Escalante coming out here in the 68th minute now. So they can still attack. You figure Lights will try to play a little bit more off their back line to try to get the equalizer here, and you get some speed and pace from Gordon and Lang out on the wide channels there. That hopefully can maybe get a third for San Antonio here.
When you think about the difference between what Escalante brought and what Gordon will bring, you figure Gordon really is going to stretch this back line all the way down to the end line as they defend from this SAFC right side, whereas Escalante, wanting to come to the inside, allowed them a little bit more time to recover because of his tendencies to cut back onto his left foot and allow that space for Las Vegas to come in underneath it. Gordon's really going to attack the outside shoulder of this outside back, Christian Torres, and see if he can drive him to the end line, get service across the face of goal. And so you would expect a little bit more of a balanced attack between what Lance Lang and Greg Cochran have done on the left side, and now what Omar Gordon's going to be able to do, hopefully here on the right-hand side for SAFC.
So 20 minutes or so, whatever stoppage time added on, as San Antonio tries to see this win through. Up 2-1 here. Gordon 5 goals as he makes his 24th appearance of the season. Only the 3rd time he's come on as a substitute this year. Ochoa plays off Hedrick. It'll be a throw for Las Vegas. Not a lot of offense really left on the bench for Las Vegas Lights. Matt Thomas probably would be the ideal 3rd sub. Played the role of a super sub, so to speak, this year. He's got 3 goals coming in as a substitute. And 19 total appearances, and he is available here for selection. Alvarez. Torres will return. Joseph Perez. A lot of space over on the right side of the park, and again with a sub on of Carter Manley, you figured they would maybe try to go on that right side a little bit. And Manley's only made 1 touch since coming on into the match. Mendiola back to Mendoza. Christian Torres. Carlos Alvarez trying to turn. Mikey Lopez will return. Perez didn't like what he saw upfield. We'll give it back. Thomas Olsen sending forward. And Perez, or rather Torres, in an offside position.
Good pressure there from Mikey Lopez to turn that possession all the way back from the edge of their defensive third, going all the way back to Olsen's feet, really just from his pressure alone.
Gordon heads this into the middle of the park. Mendoza coming back. King and Alvarez fighting for the ball. Alvarez try to play off Pekka, taken away by Darnell King. Now battling Rafael Garcia. King will get free. Good ball out wide to Cochran. He's got Guzman to his left if he wants him. He'll give it to Cheno. Up that left side into the corner. Return to Lance Lang. Plenty of daylight. Lang going to work it into the area. Was defended right at the top of the box as Gordon was looking to find some space there inside the box. And the final substitute of the night is the aforementioned Matt Thomas for Las Vegas Lights. He'll come in for the left back, Christian Torres here. So Thomas gives him a little more offensive posture, as we said. This ball rides off of Brian over the touchline and out. Pekka sending it back into the corner. Perez drives it up. Question was, did Hedrick get that on the line or over it? Says it's on the line. Throw for Las Vegas. Garcia. Heavy touch there for Mendiola, but he catches a break as Gordon gives it back to him. Alvarez returning to Ochoa, playing it out wide. Finally, they get Manley out in some space. Manley running here on Cochran. Drives it to the back post, and just missing over there was Thomas on the left side.
Like what Manley did there to put the pressure on Greg Cochran. The final delivery of that ball, a very difficult ball to finish. It was rising as it came across the face of goal there. Really up a little bit too high for anyone for Las Vegas to be able to get on the end of. But you saw SAFC in that moment of trying to battle for possession really lose their shape and their organization across the back line. Something you cannot afford to do with 15 minutes to go, and your attempt to collect 3 points is, because of poor organization, allow a late equalizer.
Good possession here. Thomas whips it in, headed across the face of goal by Guzman Miranda. Will land outside the area, back to Carter Manley. Running again on Cochran. Manley again drives it down to the pitch. Cochran, or Cardoni rather, is there to snag it. Well, you like what you see out of Carter Manley out there on the right side. And the 2 times they've been able to work it to him, he's made something happen.
Yeah, he's obviously got the ability to go 1 versus 1 out in those wide spaces, which are so difficult for outside backs to defend when that player just runs at you, which he's done twice now in a row to Greg Cochran. SAFC are going to have to find the ball here, try to tip the scales a little bit in terms of the possession, the momentum, the quality.
That guy can certainly change it in a heartbeat. Omar Gordon off to the races. Around 3 lights players into daylight. Guzman making the run to the left. Bryant on the right side. It'll be Bryant on the receiving end. Into the box is Ethan Bryant. Bryant, and well defended at the last moment. Nice job by Joseph Perez.
Yeah, Perez does a great job. Forces Ethan Bryant really into a tough spot. He hesitated, did Ethan Bryant, wanted to come back on his left foot when there really wasn't any space. You like how this develops and builds up. Cheno Guzman runs defenders off that left side to create the space on the far side. He really has the space at the end line now, but it's that little bit of hesitation and delay. Wasn't able to get it. In the end, very, very well defended and tackled. Ultimately tackled it back off of Bryant.
Rafa Castillo will come on in the 77th minute, taking out Ethan Bryant. Castillo, who missed a lot of time this season with injury, making just his 12th appearance of the season before ever Guzman passed him, formerly San Antonio's all-time leader in goals. A more experience up top. And again, to your point, trying to create a little more possession here. Lights seeing a little bit of momentum these last few minutes.
Yeah, it's starting to tip a little bit in their favor. They're having some more opportunity down on their end. Castillo, not just for his attacking ability, but just his experience, his savvy, his energy. You know, they seem as a side to have lost a little bit of their edge here in the latter part of this phase of the game, and you hope that he can bring that in for them.
Great give and go between Garcia and Alvarez. It's left for Ochoa inside the area, back across the face of goal, and Guzman Miranda couldn't get on the end of it as he made the slide down inside the 6. But what a build-up, though, for Las Vegas, and it all started at the 2-man game between Garcia and Alvarez.
And you can feel these moments coming, can't you? As you watch the game and you see it develop, you can feel these moments coming for the Lights. This is what SAFC are going to have to do to counter.
Castillo, he'll take it from there all the time, but this one's wide of goal. Yeah, it's about the area where he does like it as his feet. If he sees it opening, he'll take the opportunity. Look at this build-up here.
Just so many numbers forward here. Really not anyone there at the right time for Ochoa. Probably the best thing for him to have done was to hold it and keep possession there, but that's a little bit tired legs, tired decisions there.
Well, you know, amazingly, for all the contact we had in the first half, this game has actually settled into a pretty well-played game. by both sides here through the second half.
Yeah, just I think as the game settled in, the physicality of the tackles and the after-tackle stuff has sort of faded and fizzled. And they're playing the game. As we've talked about Las Vegas, so much experience, so much quality on their side. San Antonio playing for so much today.
A win for San Antonio. They would pull level with St. Louis, 49 points. One back of Swope Park Rangers. They would be even in games with Swope. St. Louis still 2 games to play. One of those Wednesday against Tulsa. Here's Gordon. No attack in. Sends it across. Lang settles the head a little bit too high for him to land. Back to Lance Lang. Takes a strike. He makes it 3.
And that's just what he does. That's what Lance Lang does. He scores goals. He creates goals. We called it earlier when he found himself on the right end of an assist. We just expected him to finish. He nearly hit one earlier. Off the crossbar and out. This time, smashes it into the far corner. He played out. It was really a tough ball in from Omar Gordon. It was really high. He kept it in play. I think there was a handball there, but he played through that and just crushed it past the keeper, Thomas Olsen, into the far corner to all but seal this thing up.
So, for the 5th time since joining the squad, Lance Lang's got a goal and an assist in a game.
That's just what he does. And I think maybe in 8 or 9 total matches with the club, they all come at the same time. They come 1-1, 1-1, 1-1.
When he scores, he assists.
That's it.
He has not had a game where he's had just one and not the other. He's now got 5 and 5 on his plate total. Five goals pulls him into a tie with Omar Gordon for second on the team.
Didn't take him long. And he might not be done yet. What a great ball.
Oh, Gordon trying to get it back. And he hits it off the woodwork there.
What a great ball from Lance Lang.
Almost had his second assist.
And if you go back to early stages of the season, early broadcasts that we had, we talked so much about the need for consistent service into the box. And that's exactly what Lance Lang has brought. And they've become so much of a more of a dangerous attacking team with him down that left-hand side for reasons like we just saw.
Carter Manley. And to your point, Lance, now in the last 10 minutes, and Lights may have conceded this one tonight with a third on the board. Thomas Olsen going forward off his line, well off his line there to get that away from Omar Gordon. Well, it was maybe not the path most ideally taken tonight by San Antonio, getting down in the first quarter hour, but a really big response by Cheno Guzman before halftime to get him on the board. Big goal to start the second half, and I'm just going to call him the closer now. Lance Lang closing it out for San Antonio once again when they needed it most.
And Cheno Guzman, we're so used to seeing his movement in the box and off the back shoulders of central defenders and finding those little seams, but tonight we've seen a lot more movement where he's peeling out to the edge of the box to those corners of the 18-yard box and creating space for other players to come through those central seams. And his movement off the ball has created a lot tonight that we don't ordinarily see, I don't think. And with that being said, he's exerted a lot of energy tonight. You look at some of these guys, Lance Lang up and down that left-hand side all night long. You almost wonder, SAFC have used one of their 3 subs tonight. You almost wonder, do you need to just give an extra little bit of time? At this point, we're only 7 minutes really from full time, not including any sort of stoppage, but you think about what decisions can be made here to preserve a little bit. It's late in the season. These guys have played a lot of games.
But they'll be happy to play one more that means something next Saturday night, that's for sure. And that's what it's looking like for San Antonio. And regardless of what happens on Wednesday night with St. Louis, San Antonio is going to have something to play for Saturday against Rio Grande Valley, assuming they see this 3 points through over the last 7 minutes. And a rare miscue by Lang. It turns into possession here for Las Vegas. Guzman Miranda can't get it in Carter Manley's feet. Instead to Alex Mendoza. And And Carlos Alvarez out wide to Matt Thomas. Thomas enters the box. Thomas puts it on frame and parried away by Matt Cardone.
Tough angle there from Thomas. Heavy tired legs of Darnell King there in a 1-versus-1 situation. Doing everything he can to force the ball into that wide area, take any angle away. Matt Cardone does a nice job there on the near post, just to make sure. Might have been going wide anyway, but just to make sure.
Edric heads it out. It's what he has done since joining the starting lineup. 110 clearances coming into tonight's match. Here's a ball that's brought down, but not the best final take on it as it rolled harmlessly to Cardone off of Mendiola. A little more than 5 minutes to full time and whatever added time, which you don't think will be very much, frankly. The way the second half has gone, Cesar Elizondo coming now to the table. He looks to be the third and final substitute to be used by Darren Powell at this point.
Yeah, I said a moment ago they still have 2 left. They've only got 1 left. This will be their final. And really where you would expect it for one of those core attacking players that have been so busy tonight.
Oh, good little decoys. Guzman Miranda gets it at his feet, but loses his footing inside the area, trying to send it back across. Cochran with Garduño. Garduño will play it forward. Sammy Ochoa. And he'll concede and a little frustrated here as this one winding down. It's been a frustrating season for Lights. They'll come to an end next week. And they'll look for better times in the offseason and moving forward to next year. But for San Antonio, they'll go into their final match of the season, having done what they needed to do not only tonight, but last Saturday against Seattle, setting themselves up in the South Texas Derby against their rival, Rio Grande Valley FC. And in case you're wondering, they have drawn against RGV 0-0 back on May the 12th, and last time the teams met down in the Valley on August 29th, San Antonio winning 3-1.
I think SAFC will definitely take a third consecutive 3-1 result next weekend. Be happy with that. Everything to play for. A Texas Derby with RGVFC already out, but with any derby,
doesn't matter.
Always a little bit of excitement.
Rivalry game. RGV will certainly love to spoil San Antonio's hopes. The closer is out. He's already done his part. Cesar Elizondo's in the 88th minute. That RGV game, by the way, that San Antonio won 3-1, that was when Lance Lang started his torrid goal and assist streak. His run down in the left corner there was Rafa Castillo. And a little bit of a tough challenge. And now temper's starting to flare. Mendiola, Ochoa. Darnell King in the middle of it.
We talked earlier about Rivas and how he's managed the game and allowed things to go on a little bit and allowed the play to be a little bit physical. That situation there, really, really hard, heavy challenge. Couldn't have been further from the ball. A really bad challenge.
That was Guzman Miranda, and they're still tussling. Mo Hernandez, Rivas, he's got to get into this now here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's
taking a very passive approach.
I was going to say he's either composed, passive, or indifferent.
I understand letting the players work out their own differences, but Guzman Miranda, Rafa Castillo is very fortunate that the way his knee buckled on that challenge by Guzman Miranda, that he wasn't more severely hurt.
And you can't blame the players for SAFC for coming across. It was a terrible challenge. He was a week late on the tackle here on the touchline. Wasn't even near the ball. And you look at a player like Rafa, who's battled with injuries. The last thing any of his teammates want to see is after he's made the comeback. I think after he had gone down in Colorado, he spent so much of the rest of the season out. He's only just recently come back. You don't want to see a guy like that go out with a silly, silly challenge late.
And after all of that, just the one yellow to Guzman Miranda. So we're into the 90th minute. San Antonio up by 2. About to put away their 14th win of the season, which is key, of course, to consider if we get to tiebreaker situations. They will pull even in wins with Swope Park Rangers and one win more than St. Louis FC. They will become very, very, very big Tulsa Roughneck fans on Wednesday night when Tulsa goes to St. Louis.
Tulsa not a team that's been on the right end of results many times this year, although
they
not very long ago was able to upset SAFC after going down a goal, coming back and winning 2-1, and then even got a draw this past weekend to have impact on the playoff race.
Thomas and King, possession foul. 4 minutes at a time in the second half.
At least a couple of that coming from that altercation there.
Well, when San Antonio needed 3 points tonight, they turned to really the two players who've been their most consistent in the second half of the season. And an offside flag up. Cheno Guzman delivering his 9th and 10th goals of the season. Lance Lang delivering a goal and an assist yet again for the 5th time this year. And for San Antonio, as Carter Manley will bring it down with a heavy touch into the box, tried to slip it in Guzman Miranda's direction, defended out. They'll have something to play for in the South Texas Derby beyond just a rivalry game next Saturday night, as they will keep the pressure on St. Louis and Swope Park Rangers. And really what ideally, I guess, San Antonio would like maybe to happen is not only to win, but then put Swope clearly in the position where they have to win on Sunday to get into the playoffs, regardless of what St. Louis does.
That's right. And from the looks of it, you almost think that displacing Swope is the more likely of the two scenarios.
Path. Because it is hard, in my opinion, to see St. Louis dropping 2 home games. They've been so good at home all season. Or even really dropping one of those home games, so to speak. But I agree. I think when it comes to controlling your own fate, you win your 2 games, and Swope plays a week from tomorrow, as this one's headed away from danger. You turn the tables on Swope and put the pressure on them to win against Galaxy 2 in the final day of the regular season.
Like we said before, they've got to win matches. SAFC, you got to win tonight, get your 3 points, get recovered, put your game plan in place, stay healthy this week in training, and come back out next Saturday and repeat, get another 3 points. And that's all you can do at this point.
I'll tell you one thing, Lance. We oftentimes reflect back on last season. San Antonio last year, when they conceded first, they were not a very good team. This will be their 6th win this year when they've conceded the first goal.
Which says a lot about, I think, their resiliency and their fortitude as a group. Also says a little bit about how lackluster their starts are. You know, it's never a good situation to put yourself down a goal and have to claw yourself back. It's great that they've done it at this point in time, late in the year. You want to try to put that habit to bed and say, all right, fellas, we're going to come out here, we're going to start sharp, and we're going to take a different route. It's not quite the same when you get into these playoff matches into to late October, when you want to find yourself down a goal, especially in their situation, now trying to play into the bottom half of that table, being on the road. Not the way you want to start matches.
They've been comfortable doing it, though, as they will get a result here and a victory momentarily. The final 3 whistles. Ever Guzman the brace. Lance Lang another goal and an assist tonight. San Antonio FC has achieved 2/3 of what they've set out to do in this final 3-game homestand. Their 2nd straight 3-1 win at Toyota Field as they upend Las Vegas Lights.
As we said, started off wasn't the best of performances there through the first half. Overall, though, they came back together. They worked hard. They executed where they needed to in the final third and created some goal-scoring opportunities, and ultimately did what they had to do tonight, which is get 3 points. It's always more important than the way you do it. Tonight is that they got it done, and they put themselves in position going into the final week where they're still alive for playoffs.
Next Saturday will be fun. Looking forward to see you again.
Indeed.
Your club's regular season comes to an end next Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. It is Fan Appreciation Night. San Antonio FC will take on Rio Grande Valley Toros of the South Texas Derby. For more information or order tickets, go to sanantoniofc.com. Now, for Lance Key and our entire crew, I'm Dan Weiss saying so long. Your final score, San Antonio FC 3, Las Vegas Lights 1. This has been a presentation of the USL and Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.
Telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.